Today we're going to be trying a bit of an experimental project, combining a few of the things that we've been doing in some of the other videos. I want to try and combine bismuth crystals with wood, spheres and resin. So what we're aiming to get to is a burnt wooden sphere with a bismuth crystal insert. First thing I need to do is make a rough sphere, I think, because then I'm going to burn it, seal it. We're going to make a cavity in it to hold the resin. We'll then do a couple of stages resin pour to make sure we've got the object or the sphere encapsulated fully in resin, and then hopefully turn it to a perfect sphere. So I'm kind of looking like an amethyst looking feel. This is what I've got in my head anyway. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, I think that's a really good first pass. We're going to let that cool, and I'm going to give it a really good brush off, and then see if we need to do some more. Here it is after it's been brushed off and cleaned. We've got a combination of sort of the cracks. I think it's really good. I need to seal this now, so I'm going to use some warmed up epoxy resin to coat it all the way around. If you try and do a straight pour, even in a pressure pot with burnt wood, it's so porous. You get just an eruption of air pockets. So it needs to be sealed first of all. So we're going to mix up some epoxy. I've just set it up with a couple of pins either side of it so it can hang without touching the sides of this cup there. One more coat just to make sure I've covered every surface. Getting all those cracks and pores. I think we're okay. It doesn't really matter if it does drip, because this is all going to be cast again in this object that will be encased in resin. This is just the start, so I'm going to do another epoxy pour once I've placed my bismuth crystals on the inside of here. So we'll leave that for 24 hours and come back and see what we've got. Right, so for the sphere we're working on, we want to make some decent sized bismuth crystals. This is a sort of example of the kind of thing that you make quite easily, and this one's quite a nice piece. You can see, I think they call it laddering. The steps are going to go in. Sorry about the flicking. You can see the stepping and the laddering. What I have in this vessel is a maybe half a kilogram of bismuth. Same practice before. We're going to heat the bismuth, melt it, give it a quick scrape, get the dross off, and then wait for the crystals to start to form. we've got our cured, sealed sphere now, which is still looking a bit Pac-Man-like, but it's cool. Now what I want to do is position the bismuth pieces in here. But obviously the bismuth is hard and non-pliable, and the wood is hard and non-pliable, and what you end up with is kind of these raised bits where the bismuth is sitting proud like that. So what I was thinking of doing was mixing up some quick set epoxy with some carbon black filler to act as a material that I can use to kind of fill out just those voids behind a couple of these pieces, and then just place them one at a time in a way that I think will end up looking good. So I might just start with those two like that and then build it out from there. I've toyed with the idea of kind of using some of these bigger pieces as like a wall, like there, maybe down there. I'm going to see how it goes. I think this is one of those bits where I can try and reposition it and place it a million times, and I think at the end of the day I'm just going to have to start sticking it down. So I'm going to start with those two pieces what I think look really nice there and work my way out. First few pieces placed. Okay, let's see how it did. I have to say, of all the bismuth, all the resin pours I've done over the years, that was the one I was the most nervous about. And it seems, apart from a couple of flakes on the surface for some reason, that it's worked well. There's no bubbles. There's no pockets. It's quite close on the edge on this side, very, very close on the edge over this side. It's time to top it up to the top of the mould, and then leave that to cure and see how it looks in another 24-48 hours. So yeah, I'm just going to mix up another batch of epoxy and finish casting it. So I want to make sure I pour it from the side into an open area so it will fill up the cracks from the side and push the air out rather than run the risk of trapping air in. So as we work through the bismuth layer, I'm just going to go slow surface of it there gone now. That's it, fully encapsulated. Just about the right amount of resin. There we go, one fully cast bismuth geode. So here, slight continuity issue here. So it's come out of the mold. It molded fine, but I've already just sanded the end, so you can't actually see. I'll put up a picture here, and you can see what I was seeing a minute ago. See, it's right up against the surface of the resin here, but less so on this side. Sorry about the focus. We've got our scrap blocks mounted. Give you a quick glimpse of what we can see. So what we can see is a tiny bit of bubbling there, but actually a really cool look all the way through. So this, I've never tried a piece of turning quite like this before. The oak sphere is not sat perfectly centered in the middle of the blank. I don't want to cut into the oak, the burnt oak. I'm pretty much resigned to the fact that I'm going to in order to finish this piece, but I don't want to, so I'm going to start with as my target. It's right up against the edge here. It's far away from the edge over here. I've set this so I'm going to start turning off here, and I'm just going to take a few cuts, check it, take a few cuts, check it, and just take it one cut at a time, very slowly. And we'll see how it goes. So yeah, in the same way as I normally turn a sphere, just really carefully. I'm going to have to do, I expect, quite a bit of repositioning of the blank. At the end of the day, we're experimenting. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, then we'll take a learning from it and we'll try again on a different sphere. But a lot of time has been invested in this sphere so far. I don't want it to break. Let's cross our fingers. Okay, so it's turning nicely, and I'm achieving what I wanted to do to start with. We haven't hit any of the bismuth, we haven't hit any of the wood, and we've reduced a bit of the diameter. I'm happy with that as a start. I'm trying really hard to get my midpoint drawn accurately, which is about there. So here's my thinking. As expected, we have just here breached into the burnt wood, and I could tell because there were tiny little bits of the burn coming off. So we did that, but now I'm wondering whether or not it's time to start to use the cups. So it's telling me I've run out of wiggle room, is what it's telling me. Right, we're approaching spherical. Obviously disappointed by this. I'm going to have to decide what I do about that. There's a tiny breakthrough here as well. I kind of knew that was going to happen. We're just going to have to see how it looks at the end. It's not what I wanted, but let's just see how it works out in the end. Yeah, okay. All right, interesting. Interesting. It's heavy. It's a heavy thing.